This is a stupid show.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Joining us is our good friend Oli Coleman from Page 6. He is here. And don't forget his most recent article in Vanity Fair, A Punk-Loving Father on the Road Back to Nail Polish, which I reread again. We've been obsessed over this whole thing between Jamie Lynn and Britney Spears because, well, first we were upset because a lot of Britney's army went after Jamie Lynn and like, kill yourself, I hope your kids die. And we just thought like, that was a bridge too far. But then when you really dig a little deeper into Jamie Lynn's book and some of the things she says about Britney, she really comes across like a bully.
Okay, so first of all, I think I should acknowledge Anthony's wisdom here because I came to talk to you guys before Christmas, I think, maybe certainly before the new year, to talk about, the biggest stories of the year. Mm-hmm. And I was perhaps, swept away in the, the holiday spirit and whatever. Was saying that this, her having been released from her conservatorship was a happy ending to a story that we'd all been following and been pretty grim at times. And Anthony said, there's still a lot to go. It's not done yet. There's all, and that's turned out to be very true. And in fact, a lot of the things that I think had brought people some hope for this situation, one of them being an apparent kind of strong relationship with her younger sister, Jamie Lynn, seems to have not really been there, right? I mean, one of the things during the conservatorship hearings when she was trying to get released from the conservatorship from her dad, Jamie, that I found interesting was that she, or her lawyers at least, asked for Jamie Lynn to be responsible for some of her finances, right? Which suggested to me a closeness between these people, that Jamie Lynn was somebody that she trusted. So kind of blowing that out of the water in a way that to me reads as kind of tragic in a way, amid all this sort of high tide of publicity and interest in Britney for what, probably 15 years.
Yeah, but you're portraying her as like this doting sister who was kind of there for her and almost like was part of her conservatorship after the mean big old bad daddy was finally taken off. But remember, she's the one who decided to write a fucking book now.
You guys know how closely and how tightly the narrative on Britney has been controlled by the conservatorship and the people around her, right? And I think one of the things that's happened with that, because Britney hasn't been able to speak for herself, because we haven't really heard from anyone in that family directly for a long time, people have been able to sort of project to whatever kind of story or narrative they want onto that story, because it's been kind of a locked safe, right? And so I think it's been tempting to say, look, that at least she's being treated horribly by her father, but at least she's close with her sister. But no, I agree. It seemed as if that was the case. But I'm very disappointed that Jamie Lynn has published this book. It was kind of the last thing Britney needed.
But the thing I don't understand is, and we've discussed this on the show, but I'm curious what you think. When you write a book about a very, 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 very famous controversial sister who's been through a lot publicly, wouldn't you run it by her first and say, hey, I'm writing this book. Here are some of the stories I want to tell. I know the book is supposed to be about my life, but it's also a little bit about your life. How do you feel about this? Like if my old pal Linda Lopez decided to write a tell-all book about J-Lo, she would sit down with Jennifer and talk to her before she put that book out. Otherwise, that would not only end the relationship, but there'd be a lawsuit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good way to get an injunction on your book, right? Or just to end up with a very boring book. Jamie Lynn plainly knew knows what she's doing here. Plainly knew how to ride the wave of the news after the conservatorship and the Britney, Free Britney movement, as we're calling it now. She's smart enough or cynical enough, depending on how you look at it, to know what she's doing. No, she wanted to put stuff in there that was going to disrupt their relationship, or she was willing to disrupt their relationship to put the kind of juicy, as it were, stuff in there. So, clearly she wouldn't want Britney to kind of spoil her fun in that regard.
But we're living in a us versus them time, with Trump and Biden and Trump and Obama. Like we're so us versus them that she's trying to put it out there that Britney did this and did that and came out with her knife, and Britney was fucked up, and really after she broke up with Justin Timberlake, she was a disaster to be around because she was so she'd lash out. People who love Britney are not going to believe any of that stuff. They're not going to support the book, and I just can't see who's this book for. It's not for Britney fans.
That's an interesting question, and I actually haven't seen anything to suggest how well it's selling. I think that you say it's a time of us versus them. It's not a time of us versus them by mistake, right? Like the fact of the matter is that we've learned that controversy sells books, wins elections, makes TV. There must be an audience for stuff that they don't like, stuff that they're Team Britney, but they're going to buy Jamie Lynn's book just to see what a bitch she is. That has to be the case. I mean, you don't. Somebody once said to me that it's no good anymore to be beloved, and it's no good anymore to be or just to be beloved. You have to be kind of 25% hated too, because otherwise there's no feeling and there's no passion and there's no, that's what people are attached to. So I think, sadly, I think she will find an audience for it. And if not, she's going to get on a lot of, morning TV shows and podcasts and stuff in the process.
Where does the legality begin and end with something like this? Can Jamie Lynn get sued if something is not factual, or is it her side of the story, so she really cannot get sued about something she said?
Britney's lawyer has already issued a cease and desist saying, look, keep me out of this book tour, which of course she can't because there's nothing else to talk about. What is she going to talk about? The real story behind Zoe 101. Like, nobody cares. The only thing she has to talk about is Britney. So that's not an option. But I mean, it depends. I'm going to assume that book's pretty well legal, given how litigious Britney is. Yes, you could probably say I saw this firsthand. This was my experience. Therefore, it's something in the region of opinion, right? Almost, it doesn't have to be factual. This is the way I saw it. But also tough to libel Britney. I mean, we saw the outrageous behavior at that time, right? The attacking the car with the umbrella and dropping the baby, and the baby, riding around with the baby on the quad bike, whatever, the ATV. It's probably tough to say during that period when she was, a mess, she was otherwise considered to be, a competent person, right? So probably fairly invulnerable to that. You'd be in trouble, I think, now if you portrayed her as continuing to be unstable like that. But none of that has been said, right? It's all about that period during the conservatorship, after the meltdown, certainly after the Jason Alexander wedding. So they're probably on pretty safe ground. I mean, Britney's doing a pretty great job right now of making herself seem, in her response to this, she seems unstable, and I don't know what her publicist is doing, or this isn't the, after all that time, if nothing else, after all that time, there's plenty of bad things about the conservatorship and about the time she was taken out of the public eye. But the one good thing you can say about that for sure is it was a clean slate, right? We haven't heard her say a word, really. The way she came back onto the scene was as a kind of shouty, Louisiana,
No, I think she's standing up for herself. This is years. Remember, this is 13 years of being held down and 13 years of being medicated against her will. And I just think that I get that some of the anger is misplaced, and she probably needs a good therapist, but there's a lot of anger there, and it's totally understandable.
Yeah, but why have her do it? There's plenty of ways to undermine faith in what Jamie Lynn has got to say. There's ways of doing that, right? Like, why not allow people to focus on her music rather than whatever she's going to do? I mean, she says that she may not perform again, but rather than have this kind of catfight with your sister in public. It just seems a wasted opportunity to me. But you're right. I mean, she's been silenced for all this time, but why just blow it on, 13 years worth of shit talk?
Because I'll tell you exactly why. Here's the thing that everybody is missing with this. The reason why Britney is coming out and speaking publicly and showing her anger is because all she has is us. She needs the support of her fans. She doesn't have the support of her family. There's nobody around her she can really, truly trust. The people around her that are around her are there because they can make money off of her. The only people that genuinely love her, that she feels have been her real family, are her fans. So the minute she comes out and says, "Fuck you, Jamie Lynn," which is literally what she said, it's millions of fans that are like, "You go, girl, let her have it, spill the tea." Like, they're loving it, not just because they're loving the drama, but they're loving Britney standing up for herself, and they are supporting her, and that's what Britney wants. Britney wants all of us to be the ones to prove that we still love her and prove that our loyalty and that we are her family. That's what I think.
Okay, I mean, I can see that. I don't see how like the big bad guy in this situation is her little sister. I'm not sure that that's the place. If she's going to fight back, I would like her to fight back in a bigger way against conservatorships in general, or just against bad management of kids. Famous kids, or something more meaningful than this, and something that kind of, there's something in all of this that kind of makes me feel like the father Jamie kind of wins, right? Because it looks like, oh well, look what I was dealing with. This is the situation I had. The mother who was on Vicodin after the breakup, and I had Jamie Lynn, Britney locking Jamie Lynn in a bedroom with a knife, and I had, so this is what I had to do. They had to be controlled. I just think that there's a better, bigger Britney that could come out of this, and it's kind of gone.
Well, what about the mother? I have a question for you about the mother. Now, the one thing that we have suspected and heard and even saw just watching Britney, her mom kind of standing behind her being like, "Look what I did. Like, this is my daughter. I did this," and making so much of it about her to the point where she ignored her other children. What would you say? Like, I was thinking, do you know what's the disorder? Munchausen by proxy. Do you know what that is?
Munchausen is when you need somebody to be sick. Is that?
Yeah. So Munchausen is when you pretend to be sick to get attention. Munchausen by proxy is when you make somebody around you sick. It was The Act. Remember, there was that with Patricia Arquette and Jamie and what's her face King, that cute girl who won all the awards for it. And that was the whole thing about The Act, that the mother made her sick all the time to get attention for herself, not for her daughter. And so that's what Munchausen by proxy is. And I feel like Lynn Spears, the mom, has that, but not to make the kids sick. She's made them famous because she wants to be in the spotlight. She's made the whole thing about herself. And that's one of the things that Jamie Lynn Spears does talk about in her book. It's the one thing that she and Britney have in common, that they had this mother that was like, "Yeah, I know you're famous, but look at me. I made this happen." And she'd always be throwing herself. I mean, I remember like there was, Britney was on MTV, and even the Oprah interview with the mom, she just made it all about herself. It's like, the interesting thing is your daughter and how she's handling it, not about you. So I was just wondering, like, what your thoughts were on that. And we have to coin a term that's the fame version of Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah, I mean, in her defense, I would say, isn't that all stage parents? Isn't that down from the, county pageant on upwards? Like, that's, I think that she just happened to have one kid who was, a superstar. And remember, Jamie Lynn was pretty famous too. I remember when it was like the week before, 2 weeks before I was coming to the US. It actually delayed my visa process because I was coming here to work for OK Magazine, and they had the exclusive that Jamie Lynn was pregnant, and it crashed the whole website. There was so much interest in it. They couldn't sustain this thing. The reason it delayed my visa because everyone was much more interested in that issue.
Right. Well, she was 16. I mean, she was 16. You were like 30.
Thanks, Cooper. I was not 30 in 2000. I appreciate it nonetheless. Yeah, she has lived on this stage, which is a big stage, with 2 kids for a long time. And, not to name another family, I won't mention their name, who also has a famous blonde actress daughter who's not always kind of in trouble. And then she has a younger sister who has to be famous. And I think the stage parents, the parents of the famous kids, do get kind of hooked on it. I'll say that for sure, and then they, I mean, look at the Jacksons, right? I mean, that's slightly different because Janet Jackson's probably the most talented Jackson, but they want another one. They need to keep that going.
I think those are the exceptions rather than the rule, because I always talk about this. This is like one of my big sticking points. For every Britney Spears and for every Lindsay Lohan, there's 20 Scarlett Johanssons and Justin Timberlakes and Leonardo DiCaprios. And, there's tons of actors that started as children who are not fucked up, who are like just regular people who happen to still be acting, and they had parents who weren't unhealthy.
What's healthy? I don't know. Justin Timberlake seems more healthy than Britney Spears, but is he screwed up? Probably. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of all that many cases where I would have chosen that outcome for my kid. But yeah, I mean, what I would certainly agree with you were saying that all that Britney really has is her fans, right? They're the only people who really care. And Lynn is in a high stakes situation too, right? Because the only reason that anybody is interested in her or her life is this mess that they've got going on now. So, I think it's there's no really very good motivations here.
Right.
Can we get Britney back on her feet and back living the way she wants? And can we seize this moment of having the conservatorship being open and have her live for the life that she wants to live? It seems to be, maybe we'll make the same mistakes that we made when she was 13.
I want to know about Kim and Kanye. I think this story is going to get bigger and bigger as the weeks go on. And first off, Kanye's new name, is it Ye or Ye?
I got caught with this every single time. Puff Daddy changes his name, then changes it back. Snoop Dogg changes his name, changes it back. Remember he was Snoop Lion for like 15 minutes?
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
I'm going to wait for it to settle, and then I'll learn. You think, it's got to be Ye, right? It's part of his name. It's got to be Ye.
So where does this end now with him and Pete and the kids and Kim? How big does this get before it goes away?
I think that they all play the same game. I think Pete Davidson is actually the most wholesome one in this situation, right? I think he's just along for the ride. I think, I think I published this story this week. He just finds it fascinating and hilarious, the whole thing. I think he's smart enough to know that this is, is probably the biggest opportunity to be much more well known, and I don't think he's going to waste that. But Kim and Kanye play the same game, right? They'll take any moment of controversy or intrigue, and they will spin it to their advantage endlessly. So if it's up to them, it will never end. It will go on forever. But it's like all the other ones. They'll spin it along until interest wanes, and then they'll have to find another scandal to harp on, right? In my opinion, Kanye was that in the first place, right?
Right.
With Kanye, I can't remember, what was this, 2012, something like that, 2011 maybe, was because they were sick of the story about Chris Humphries going on and on and on and on. So they're like,
That's right.
Here's Kanye, everybody, look at this over here, Kanye. And it worked, of course, and so that's what they'll do. It will last. We will dictate how long it lasts. It will last as long as we're interested, and then
interesting.
And they will offer us something else. Maybe. I was been thinking about this. Like Kris Jenner must be watching this Britney and Jamie Lynn and Lynn saga and thinking, "You idiot."
Anthony, I'm glad you brought up Pete Davidson, because Oli, I have 2 quick questions for you about that. The first one is, do you think that this is a rebound for Kim, or do you think this is a real relationship that we're going to be talking about a year from now, aside from, in the in the news, like what you just said, like as long as we're interested. Do you think that this is love? And the second question is, I don't think, and you just mentioned that Pete Davidson is kind of like amused by this all and kind of milking it, but it's not helping his career at all. And nobody cared about that stupid Staten Island movie that he did. He's not being offered any roles of consequence. It doesn't seem to be translating into people being more interested in him as a comedian and an actor.
Yeah, I mean, both good questions. As far as whether it's a rebound, I mean, of course, it's not a serious relationship. You're going to get into a serious relationship with Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, right? That's true.
Get a mortgage with him? No.
Right. That's a good point.
And if you translate it from Kardashian terms into human terms, sure, it's a rebound. But as I was saying, it's not a rebound. What it actually is a headline and a good one.
Right.
And as far as what it's doing for Pete, I mean, he's a complicated person, right? Because essentially what he is charming. I mean, he is the thing that he is for the people, the women who seem to be interested in it. I think he is for everybody, right? He's not a particularly, in my opinion, I'm not sure that many people differ in this opinion. He's not a particularly good stand-up, I don't think.
All right, so my last question to you is, I have a pitch for you. Remember we were talking, you asked me what my next book was going to be, and I hadn't really thought about it. But then after I started really digging into this Jamie Lynn Spears thing, I was thinking that you and I should write, I think, an actual biography, not a what do they call, like the ones that you're not allowed to write, that they don't want you to write. What's that called? The unauthorized. Yeah. I think we should write an authorized biography. I think we should get in touch with Britney Spears, and you could spend a week with her. I can spend a week with her. We'll do a lot of research, a lot of interviews. I think that we should write a book with Britney, giving her side of things.
Listen, how about you can take care of getting that access, and then I'll come and help with the writing. You seem more confident about that access than I would be, but hey, I'm into it. If you can get her, get us a couple of, get us sleeping on her sofa for a couple of weeks, I'm in.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, Anthony and I've interviewed her, so we do have a connection to. We know her publicist, and she follows me on Twitter. So there you go. But I was thinking, seriously, I wanted to make the offer, but I didn't want to do it until I spoke to you and made sure that you were on board, because I think this is the kind of book that we should write together.
She presumably will do a book, a response to, not a response to the Jamie Lynn thing, because that's too small fry, right? But there's got to be. I'm sure she will do that. It would be foolish not to. Mm-hmm. Especially because she hasn't really said anything for so long,
Graphic language will be used throughout this show.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
So we all know that celebrities get plastic surgery. You believe it or not, celebrities go out and spend money and get boobs and butts and take the wrinkles away. What's her name? Monica from Friends? She went a little bit too far. I went to see the new Scream. Maybe 3 or 4 steps too far.
You know what it is with her that I think is really interesting? On screen, you can't really tell. Like when you see her on television or being interviewed, but then you go to look at her Instagram and she doesn't use filters and you can really see her. And you're right, it's too much. I'm sorry, it's too much.
Yeah, when you see it on a 50-foot screen, it's too much.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, when you're seeing it at the movie theater, you go, and she's even come out to say, yeah, I went a little bit too far.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she said, I look at myself now and I think I should have stopped maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I continued to do it. So she has come out to say, yeah, I've had plastic surgery. Who else has actually stepped up and said, I have or I haven't? So we can try to call their bullshit if they say they have it. like on this list, Iggy Azalea has opened up about getting boobs and a nose job.
Oh, she's talked about that over and over. I think, didn't she have like the boobs put in, taken out, put in? Didn't she have like a whole? Isn't she the one that one of those girls had like boobs?
She's in the shop every other week.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, before you continue on your list, I just want to say, because you brought up Friends, the thing that I really like is that Jennifer Aniston has done just a little bit, like.
She's done 2 steps too far too.
But wait a second. But the one person that's done nothing is Phoebe.
And she's the one that looks the best.
She looks
and
like
she's the oldest.
Right. She looks like a regular person. I mean, she looks like herself because she's gorgeous, Lisa Kudrow. But I love the fact that she is embracing her face aging. Like, this is what I fucking look like. Sorry. You know,
yeah, and Joey.
Yeah, but I respect them. I respect them for not doing it. I respect them for just aging gracefully because I think they both look amazing.
Cardi B, has she said yes or no to getting plastic surgery?
I mean, she's so young. That's the thing. You know, a lot of the women that start having like too much plastic surgery, they're the ones that are in their 40s, like 40 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Although, no, Cardi B was a stripper, so my guess is those tits aren't real.
Yeah, she says in the Bronx she grew up with people saying, look at your flat ass and you got no titties. So she went and got titties and an ass. So she says, yeah, I've done that.
Right.
Diane Keaton says she's had no work done, but she's not opposed to it. She just hasn't had any done.
Again, another woman who is aging beautifully. Her face looks incredible, and she looks like Diane Keaton. I think she would look so weird if she started getting stuff done. Like, you know what? You know how much I love Jennifer Coolidge. But in White Lotus, they did this one close-up where I was like, whoa, Jennifer Coolidge has had too much work done. Someone stop her. She's like a little bit Joan Rivers here. A little bit, Wildenstein, that woman that was like the cat lady.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not that far yet, but getting there.
Getting there.
Your buddy Tyra Banks, has she had it? Will she admit to it?
I would think that Tyra probably had like a little Botox here and there, but I don't think that Tyra's had any real work done.
She had a nose job. And she will say, yeah, I did that. I did that earlier in my career.
I was going to say, no, she had a nose job when she was like 14. I'm talking about now as an aging person.
Fake hair and a nose job. So she will cop to that. Halle Berry says she feels pressure to get plastic surgery, but she says she hasn't had any, which is complete bullshit. I'm looking at a photo of her now. Yeah, you can keep... Yeah. You know who else said they didn't get plastic surgery? Michael Jackson. He said, I haven't had anything done.
That's a good point.
Hallie, looking at your photo here, you've had it. Stop it.
Well, what are you considering plastic surgery? You know, a little bit of Botox and some Fraxel or whatever that thing that they do on your jaw with like the little needling. That's not plastic surgery.
I think it like the vampire facial and the pulling the skin back. I think that's plastic surgery. I think more Botox than every other couple of months, that's a plastic surgery.
Okay, here's what I think the distinction is. Plastic surgery is permanent. You can't undo it. Once you've done it, that's it. Your eyes look like that. Your face looks like that. Your jaw looks like that. I think what Halle Berry has done are the fillers and the plumping and the Botox, things that eventually go away.
I think when she wakes up in the morning to brush her teeth, there's somebody there putting a needle in her face every morning. I think she has a personal Botox person. Dolly Parton, yeah, she said, yeah, bring it on. I've had everything done.
Right.
I'm not saying I haven't. I have. And you know what? She looks awesome. So.
She looks, but see, I want to know who her surgeon is because she looks amazing.
Khloe Kardashian. Says she had at least one surgical procedure done to her face. At least one.
Bullshit. Okay. First of all, there's been dozens of photos of back-to-back photos of what she used to looks like now. Her chin, her cheeks, her jawline, her nose, her eye lift. She has had so much work done. So she can keep lying to us. You know what I'm saying? But we have eyes. We can see the before and after. That's the problem with a lot of these celebrities that have been famous for so long. We know what you used to look like. We saw your old nose.
They interviewed some doctor, and he said, "Oh my gosh, she's had a third face transplant and a nose job." Kylie
funny.
Jenner attributes her changing looks to filters, not surgery.
Well, Kylie's really young. She's too young to really have surgery, I think. She's not there yet. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it's filters with her, too.
Selma Hayek.
What about, I thought you were telling me Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner was going to say that she had no surgery.
Next on the list is Selma Hayek, and she says, "No, my boobs are real."
Yeah, but her face isn't.
Her boobs are. Yeah. She doesn't say anything about her face. She's talking about her boobs. She said, "My boobs were smaller, but they've grown bigger over time." Okay. Katy Perry revealed she had some non-invasive work done. I believe that.
Well, that's what I mean. The fillers and the Botox and that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
Britney Spears says no, she's not had any.
Well, that's obvious. No, I don't mean to hate. You know, I love Britney. I don't mean to hate on her.
I know what you mean. Jamie Lee Curtis is aging naturally. She said that she's going to stick to doing that.
You know, fuck her, because she's so beautiful. That face is ridiculous. I don't know. I'm telling you, she is aging naturally, but it's still perfect. Like, her face looks better now than it did when she was in the first Halloween movie, because it was like sort of like chubby little girl, and now she's like really defined with those beautiful cheekbones. Oh my God, she's stunning.
Well, I think they actually aged her in the latest Halloween and made her look older in this Halloween. I don't know why they would do that. Pink, has she had any? Does she get behind it, or she says, "I can't"?
She does not seem like the kind of person that would have plastic surgery at all.
Yeah, Pink says she can't get behind any.
Yeah. No, remember, she gained all that weight, and she was like, "Yeah, that's what I look like now. Sorry." All right, I got an extra 40 pounds on me. Deal with it. I'm just going to buy bigger clothes. Like, she didn't care.
She says no to even Botox. "I want my children to know what I look like when I'm angry." She says, "I'm fortunate. I've never really depended on her looks." Well, bullshit, because she looks amazing. But, yeah, she hasn't done anything.
Yeah, she got good genetics.
Chrissy Teigen?
She just told us recently she had she had the boobs taken out, right? And then she also had something else weird that she was telling us about that we were like, that's a surgery.
Fat removal procedure. It's called BUCCAL, Beckel fat removal procedure. So she's
on her
had
cheeks,
that.
buckle.
Yeah. Since I quit drinking, I'm really seeing the results. And I did it. What? What you got to say?
Yeah, she had fat removed from her cheeks. And then I forget what it was. She had some weird procedure that I'd never heard of before. And I was like, I thought I knew all this stuff. But
I got to look that up. Maybe I need that.
I know.
She looks great. Maybe I want to look like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's only 35 and she just, right? And she's only like 35 and she looks incredible. She had, interesting. She went to Dr. Diamond. Oh, so Dr. Diamond was really famous. Yeah, the buccal fat removal. That's the cheek removal stuff. Yeah, that's what that is. If you think of it like this, so a buccal swab is when that's how they do a DNA test. They take that big long Q-tip and they rub it on the inside of your cheek. That's called a buccal swab. So I guess that part of a buccal fat removal is the buccal fat pad. That's the hollow of the cheek. Area. Yeah. That's what she had done. But I didn't realize she went to Dr. Diamond. So when I was growing up, all the girls in my high school all had Dr. Diamond noses. Like he did everyone's nose.
Was he good?
They all had the exact same nose.
They opened up a book and said, "I'll take number 6." That's
No.
the one I want.
No, they didn't even say, there was no number. It was like, I'll have the nose. It was the nose. Like, that's what you went for. It was the Dr. Diamond. And what's so funny is you can identify it. Like, people would walk down the street, you'd be like, oh, there's a Dr. Diamond nose. And I guess that was what was good about him, is you know what noses were his.
It's like the one guy that only can design one type of building. He's the only one. Hey, just give me the nose job. Okay.
Right. The nose job. Yeah.
Heidi Montag.
Oh, tons of work.
She's had 10 in one day.
Yep. I believe that. Yep. The boobs. She had her face done. She had the liposuction. She had all kinds of stuff. She talks about it. She's always talked about it, though.
Lil' Kim says plastic surgery was part of her insecurities of her past partners that have put her down. So,
oh, that makes me sad. Oh.
Jane Fonda is done with plastic surgery. She's had it. She's done it. But she says she's not going to do it anymore.
Okay.
But she's got to be in her 80s, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All those women had either a facelift or a half a facelift.
Oh, I think she's had a couple.
Yeah, for sure.
Justine Bateman, she says she's not doing it. It doesn't work for her. And she looks like she hasn't done any in a long time.
Who's seen Justine Bateman in 20 years or 30 years or what? Well, okay. Okay, good for her.
Yeah.
Who?
Drew Barrymore says she's going to age naturally. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all.
Say that.
She's on TV.
Right. You say that, and then you see yourself on TV, and you turn 40, and you're like, oh, I see what all the fuss is about.
Megan Fox recommends therapy before going under the knife.
Well, I think she's smart to say that, because it depends on how much plastic surgery you're about to have and what it's about. Is it about insecurity, or do you want to look a little better, or is it for somebody else? What's the reason? If the reason is because,
you want to get a rapper that's half your age,
exactly,
then maybe you should get Kate Winslet says plastic surgery is against her morals.
Don't you remember Kate Winslet had put on weight and she was like, this is what I look like, tough. Like, I'm not going to lose weight for anybody. This is my size. This is my body. This is what I look like. I am all woman. That's one of the reasons I love her, because she's so anti-plastic surgery. She's like, sorry, this is me.
Kim Kardashian says she never got her nose done.
I think that's the only thing she hasn't had done. She did everything else around it.
Martin Short doesn't think plastic surgery really works because he's tried many times, I guarantee it.
I've seen Only Murders in the Building. I'm well aware that he has probably had a little facelift or a rejuvenation of some kind.
Gene Simmons actually has come out to say, yeah, he's had a facelift, but doesn't recommend it.
Didn't he have the facelift while he was on his show? Remember the reality show he had?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because he came out with the thing on his face.
Right.
Jennifer Lopez.
It's like Cher saying she's never had plastic surgery.
But Gene wears makeup on stage. He doesn't have to get a facelift. He comes out as the demon.
But what about the rest of his life? Yeah, but the rest of his life he looks like an actor. But the rest of his life he looks like an actual demon.
No, he's always in that makeup. Every time you see him, he's in that makeup. He's in that stupid makeup all the time. Jennifer Lopez says she's never had any surgery, any Botox, or any other injectables.
Bullshit. Okay. Hey, good for her. Bullshit. Yeah, that's really good for her. I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, so she looks like that. She hasn't had any work done.
Let me just tell you that the house that she's looking at with Ben Affleck right now, the $65 million house that they're looking at together, it has a plastic surgery room in the house. It has a operating room in the house, so you can get procedures done and just walk into your living room afterwards to recuperate, so you don't have to be seen in a hospital.
Jodie Foster says plastic surgery isn't for her.
Well,
good for her.
Because she's beautiful and perfect. And, it's so easy when you're like a supermodel. I remember our friend Peter Grossman from Us Weekly magazine, when he was there, he told us the story about how Heidi Klum had walked in like 2 weeks after having a baby. And they were like, oh my God, Heidi, you look amazing. She's like, I'm a supermodel. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to be like that. I'd love to tell you that I've been working out and running and, eating celery every day, but I've just been living my life. I'm sorry. That's what it is to be a supermodel. So she's going to continue to look amazing, someone like Heidi Klum, without plastic surgery because she's a supermodel.
Mickey Rourke said he only had corrective surgery done after boxing injuries.
No. Okay, that's like all those ladies that I grew up with in Long Island who were like, I'm not getting a nose job. I have a deviated septum.
Oh, I couldn't breathe, so I had to get that done. Lisa Kudrow has actually had a nose job. She said it was life-altering.
But again, she had
it
that
done at 16.
I was going to say she had it when she was 16.
Is it a diamond nose?
No.
No, it's not. Okay, how about Nene Leakes?
I'm sure she had some plastic surgery, sure.
Yeah, she's had a lot. Nose job, liposuction, smaller breast implants, then a breast lift. So she said she's had a lot.
I feel like the breast lift, you can't really tell. Only you can see a difference in breast lift. I've never once seen anybody with a breast lift that I was like, oh, yeah, those are much higher.
Because you're not looking at them like I would be looking. I would know.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty subtle, though. I mean, I've had friends that have had breast lifts, and I've seen the before and after, and it literally is like, okay, it's so little that only you know.
Yeah, just drag the ground like Cooper. I mean,
right,
Cooper's
exactly.
like...
I trip over my tits all day long. I'm used to it.
You're like the guy that dragged his knuckles. You're like that guy.
Yeah, just drag my tits. Just wear higher heels so you get them up off the ground a little bit once in a while.
You got rug burns on your boobs.
I have rug burn on my nipples.
Don't trip over my tits. Stop. Watch that. You'll trip.
That's why you can't have puppies. They go and they run and they think that's a play toy. Did you see that Amy Schumer had liposuction this week?
Did she?
Yeah, I was really surprised because if you watched any of her reality show / documentary thing that she was doing, she seemed very proud of her body because it had birthed Jean, and she was that was her whole thing. I was really surprised that she went and had liposuction.
I'm not surprised. I mean, she's famous. She's got to live up to getting that next job.
Yeah, but not to be a dick. Just, eat less, move more, hire a personal trainer.
That's hard.
Right.
That's really hard. It's much easier just to go in while you're getting an oil change, have them rotate the tires.
Right. I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, and you're a celebrity. You don't have to do anything for 3 months. You can hide in your house. Nobody knows. Then you come out, you look fantastic.
And then you deny having anything done.
Yeah. I mean, it's much easier than working out and eating right.
Oh, what this? I was just
short.
I was just in Aruba for a week. Thank you. I know I look great. I know. I got a little sun. That's all.
I bought a rowing machine, and that's all I've been doing nonstop.
Right.
Rowing myself nuts.
A journey back in time.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Boy, that takes me back.
So I'm wearing a perfectly lovely purple dress today. It's like a light knit. It's like a little summer kind of knit kind of thing. And when I tried it on in the dressing room, see, this is the problem with dressing rooms. I think that they should let you take the dress out onto the street and see how you fare out there in the real light, because the dressing room light, I mean, everybody looks like a top model. I felt like Tyra Banks in there. And the minute I walk out, you know what I mean? You go from in the dressing room, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're Cindy Crawford. You go out into the real light, you're Joan Crawford. You know what I mean? Like they should let you try the dress on in different environments before you decide to buy it. Because I bought this cute little purple dress, came in here, thought I looked adorable, and the first thing Anthony says to me is, "You wearing blue underwear?"
That's
we got blue underwear on. I was like, "How do you know what color underwear I have?" Yeah. That's not how you sound.
No, you can see right through it. You might as well not be wearing anything.
Well, luckily we keep it dark in here, and Heidi was so kind. She was like, I can't see a thing. And we put the lights on, and sure enough, it was like, wow, underwear. I am dressed completely inappropriately at work today, and the problem is I spent a lot of time in HR to begin with. You know what I mean?
You're
like
only wearing underwear today. Let's just point that out.
That's what it's. And I almost. It's funny because I almost wore like a little thongy kind of thing, but I'm wearing like boy shorts.
I know.
And it was a last minute impulse to throw on the boy shorts, and thank goodness I'm in them because they cover a lot more. It would have been bad.
I would have had to go home.
You've scheduled an appointment with your doctor to have your eyes removed, haven't you?
No, because that's not the last thing I want to see. What do you remember from sight? I remember boy shorts. No.
Well, fine. Then let's make a formal uniform mandatory here.
Okay.
Let's say, I don't know, plaid and a beret. Everybody has to wear a beret and plaid.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, if I were hot, you wouldn't complain. You're complaining because I'm ugly and fat. If I wasn't ugly and fat, you'd be like, you wouldn't say anything to me. You would have told like 5 other guys. You would have stopped guys and went, look what Cooper's wearing today. Check it out, man.
No, because I'm going to tell you, if you were hot, I would have said, that dress is really see-through, but how you doing? But I would have told you it was see-through because I didn't want you to be embarrassed. I didn't want, okay, so then you go to somebody else.
You did tell me it was see-through.
I didn't want you to go to somebody else.
No, you and I went for coffee today. See, you told me the wrong time because you and I didn't realize. I put the dress on. I meet Anthony. We go for coffee, and it's bright outside. We go at 5 o'clock. We walk to the coffee place through the parking lot, and that's when he noticed it because apparently out in the bright sunlight, it's like I'm basically wearing a fishnet.
And then I walked in front of you from that point on. If you know.
Yes, you did. You should walk behind me.
No, I did. There's no way I'm walking behind you. I'm going to walk in front of you.
Oh, I thought you were walking in front of me to protect me from the people seeing me. You were actually trying to keep away.
I'm protecting myself.
You idiots. So I walked into that coffee shop. We saw somebody you knew there. You didn't say a word to me till we got out. I was in that coffee shop. I thought people were looking at me thinking, wow, that's a very beautiful purple dress she has on. They were thinking, boy, that girl with the big butt has blue underwear.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. I've never seen somebody just walk around perfectly naked.
I didn't realize.
Outside like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the dress was that see-through and that I wasn't wearing anything underneath it.
You need to throw that away. When you get home, throw that in the trash.
I'm not throwing it away. I'll wear a slip under it next time. Or like actual bike shorts or something.
Jeans.
Or jeans. I'll wear jeans and a T-shirt and throw the dress on over it. But I'm not going to throw it away. So I am completely dressed inappropriate for work today. It's one thing if I work from home or worked in a basement or worked at a strip club. But unfortunately, I work among other people. So I'm dressed completely inappropriate today for work. So, Carol, what'd you do?
On my first day on the job that I'm at now, I had my fly unzipped the whole day.
And because nobody knew you yet. They didn't say anything to you, right?
Right, no.
Oh, no. And to this day, are you the girl with the unzipped fly? Because the first impression is always what they call you for the rest of the time you're there.
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, no.
Funny.
It's hard to live that one down.
That's right. I sure noticed at the end of the day. It was funny.
Yeah, it's funny. You gotta laugh at yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Carol.
You're reminding me of that. You're welcome.
We are talking about the wardrobe malfunctions you've had at work. Or like me, have you showed up in a completely inappropriate outfit for your job? It happens sometimes. You're in the mood for an outfit, you throw it on, you get to work, and you realize, oh, God, why did I wear this? It's so inappropriate. Has that happened to you? 877-626-6737. Hi, Ruth.
Hello.
Ruth, where do you work?
I work at a casino in security department.
Oh, wow. So is there a uniform that you wear?
Yeah, but I had a major uniform malfunction one day.
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, I'm a little top-heavy, and I wasn't wearing a tank top underneath my uniform like I usually do, and I popped a button right in the middle of my shirt, and I didn't realize it, and it was open a little bit, and I was showing off my bright red bra to everybody.
And you were like, I'm making a lot of money today. It's the tips are flying in. And you had no idea why until you looked down.
My department, so.
You're like, no, I'm not supposed to be a stripper, I swear. Take your dollars back.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ruth. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Cooper.
Angela, what did you do?
Well, I worked at a grocery store, and we had a shirt that we had to wear, and I would normally just put it on over whatever I wore to school that day.
Uh-huh.
But this one day, I took the shirt on underneath off, and I buttoned up my shirt, and I was at work, and I was getting ready to leave. I was in the break room, and my boss was in there, and I'm talking to him like it's a guy.
Yeah.
And I start unbuttoning my shirt because I think that I have a shirt on underneath. And I had the entire shirt unbuttoned before I realized that I did not have a shirt on underneath my work shirt.
Did he think you were coming on to him?
No, I mean, he knew me a little bit better than that, but he was like, Angela,
okay.
you know, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I like ran out of the room. My face was bright red.
Hello,
You were
Mr.
like,
Boss.
Yes, I do know I have nothing on underneath here. Now, about that raise. No, not that raise.
That raise.
That raise.
Right, and then he made a comment to me about it like the next day, and he was like, you know, Angela, we have a dress code here.
Oh, Angela, that's hysterical.
It was terrible.
Are you dressed right now?
I am dressed right now, and I have a shirt
Okay.
on and everything.
Okay, just checking, because I just saw Anthony kind
How you
of
doing?
daze out there.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Thanks, Angela. Hey, Mark.
Hi, how are you, Cooper? It's good to hear.
Now, sorry?
It's good to talk to you. I want
Yeah, it's good to talk to you as well. So what happened to you? Did you have a wardrobe malfunction at work?
Well, I don't know if it's anything quite as embarrassing, but besides walking around occasionally with your fly unzipped and not knowing it, I
Right.
went to work one day and had a brown shoe and a black shoe on and had to...
No! Now, wait a second. Did you get dressed early in the morning? How did that come about?
in the dark.
Right.
Real early in the morning. And didn't realize it until I got to work and had been there for about an hour or so.
Didn't they feel different?
Awkward all day long.
No, but like you put on two different shoes. Do they feel different on your feet? Did you feel like, or did somebody else point it out?
No, someone else pointed it out because, you know, when you find a great shoe, you'll usually buy a pair in a couple different colors.
Ah,
so,
right.
Shoe, just different color.
Oh man, oh my God, I would be so humiliated. I would have to go home and change
Immediately. But no, with the see-through dress, you're here all day.
Isn't that funny? I don't mind the see-through dress, but heaven forbid I had two different Manolos on. I would be home in a flash, changing my shoes.
Please go home now.
Well, just don't look. It's dark in
Trust
here.
me,
You're
I'm
on
not.
Okay. No, I think you're far enough away from me. I'm sitting behind a console. You're sitting over there. I don't think you can't see from where you are. It's only Heidi that has to endure my butt.
Remember the back of the magazines in the 70s? They had those X-ray glasses
Yes.
that you would wear and see through women's dresses. Can you imagine if you put one of those on now and go, it really works?
I'm like one of those pens that you turn upside down. The girl's clothes, all of a sudden she's in her underwear.
I'm just glad she wore underwear today. She didn't pull a Britney.
Like I usually do, or like Heidi does,
Stop
frankly.
it. Stop.
Heidi hasn't worn underwear since she started working here.
I'm going home.
What? You're going. You know what? Now that there's more estrogen in the room, this is what you have to endure.
I know.
This is how it goes for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about if you have you ever had a wardrobe malfunction at work? Like showed up at work wearing something completely inappropriate. 877-6-Cooper. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, how you doing?
Catherine, when did this happen to you?
I had to go to court. I was summoned to court for jury duty.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't notice till I got there that I ended up with one black shoe and one navy shoe, the same style but two different colors. I was so humiliated and embarrassed. I tried to hide my feet the whole day.
You didn't do that to get out of jury duty?
No. Actually, I ended up sitting there for about 4 hours, and they said they had already picked a jury, and I was sent home.
Because you know why? Because the attorneys went, oh, look at that woman, Catherine. Look at those feet.
Clearly,
crazy.
she's insane.
She's insane. I don't want her on my jury.
Yeah.
She's excused. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. See, I'm not alone, Anthony. You can make fun of me in my purple
Now
dress.
they're wearing shoes, not see-through dresses.
They can't print it if it's not true.
Now's a good time to break the big news.
Stories from the Weekly World News.
With Chad, the man in the corner.
This is the Cooper Lawrence Show.
Now, it's a good thing we're doing this story tonight. It's very timely.
Oh.
It takes place in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
That's where Cooper is as we speak.
So I know it exists.
It does exist. Now, of course, riots and earthquakes are bad enough in Los Angeles, but now, I'm sure it's probably all over the news there locally. LA is being rocked by a perverted space alien who is exposing himself to scores of women.
I didn't even know about this.
You didn't hear about it?
No.
Well, that's how it goes, though. The mainstream media is afraid to cover these kind of stories.
Please
the Weekly
bring
World
Kermit
News.
back.
What?
Please bring Kermit back.
I don't do anything you say, computer.
Kermit.
Yeah, nice diction.
He loves Kermit.
Kermit. Wow, I hate that computer. Anyway, at least 37 females, including a respected physician and a member of the mayor's staff, have told police that they were confronted on the street by the bizarre extraterrestrial flasher.
Oh, no.
I know. Now, when you've seen, like in the movies or in comics, these space aliens don't usually have anything down there, right?
Right.
But believe me, this thing did, and it was totally repulsive, according to a 35-year-old woman who doesn't exist, named Nellie.
That's right. Once you turn 35, that's it. You don't exist in California anymore.
She says his you-know-what
evaporate.
His you-know-what spun around on his body like a blender and made a frightening whine like a dentist's drill. I almost fainted from shock when I saw it.
Back.
Now, police are urging people to stay calm, downplaying the incidents of
I
these
can't stay calm.
flashing space aliens.
There's an alien with a drill for a thing.
But UFO researchers find that the eyewitness accounts are compelling.
You think?
Yep, a British UFO investigator who doesn't exist named Dr. Sherry Longbow.
Oh, they did not give her that.
Yes. Says the similarities in these reports the women gave to police.
Chad's wife is booking a plane ticket now.
These reports, the similarities in the reports the women gave to the police are so significant it's hard to write them off as coincidental. Now, it says also that Dr. Sherry Longbow has been keeping abreast of the phenomenon.
Of course.
Of the flashing space aliens.
Yes.
In each case, the women claim they were walking on a street late at night when the alien jumped out of them seemingly out of nowhere. They describe it as having an oversized light bulb-shaped head and a small spindly body. Now, while initially dressed in a dark-colored overcoat, he then opened it up.
She is booked on the 11:30 flight.
This alien then opened it up, exhibiting his private parts, which glow in the dark and make a whirring type motion, like the others described as like a dentist drill, makes a whining noise. Now, a beautician who doesn't exist named Miss Yartel.
I make a whining noise too.
Says the most frightening aspect of the close encounter with the sick alien flasher is the expression on its face.
Oh, no.
She says, when he saw my stunned reaction to his
She moved the
thingamajig.
flight up to 10:30.
When he saw my reaction
Go, Mrs. Chad.
to this thingamajig, he gave this disgusting leering grin as if he were incredibly pleased with himself. Then he tied his overcoat shut and darted away. Now, the Dr. Longbow says the case throws new light on the strange visitors from space. She says in the past it was widely believed
She
that
heard
space...
it close in the dark.
Yes. In the past, it was widely believed that space aliens have no external genitalia.
Oh.
But now we know, because of this Los Angeles flashing space alien,
This debunks all that.
that's what people saw was that it's untrue, that it actually does have something down there.
Wow.
And it also confirms that some aliens, like humans, exhibit aberrant or deviant sexual behavior. So while you're in LA, as you're leaving the studio tonight, walking down the 405 since you don't have a car,
Right.
be on the lookout for a space alien, and if he's wearing an overcoat,
go the other way.
You just better run because he's probably going to flash
Attention, Miss
out.
Ched. Your flight is now boarding.
Hey, computer, board this. Okay, board this. Stupid computer.
Mrs. Chad is on her way.
I'm just trying to help you, Cooper. That's all I'm trying to do.
No, I really appreciate that. And I can't wait till Mrs. Chad gets here.
You can look for them together.
Yeah.